Machiavellic, obviously, like you've already pointed out, Jonathan, I've got the opportunity to get the NFT. Just obviously, I've never bought one before, but do you think obviously what they're offering is rather expensive?
It's not cheap. It's very difficult to say. I mean, it's almost like you are getting a significant chunk of the seed fund that will be used to build the game, which is a massive opportunity, but has got all the risks associated with any startup. So really, we're talking about a very young game, a strong team, but again, they haven't built a vast number of games behind them. I don't think any of them have. But they have worked on games, and so you're trusting the sort of drive and ambition of this young team can see it through to completion, to launch, to monetizing, to get your token value back. Now, the fact that they're doing it with an NFT is actually something I appreciate quite a lot. I think that's a really good approach, because what you're doing is buying an NFT, and on the back of that, you're receiving some seed tokens, some initial launch of their tranche of their tokens. And if the token goes to nothing, or doesn't show any activity for a long time, you're just feeling disenchanted with the project, then you can sell your NFT, which will give somebody some rights in the game that you'll be giving up, but they'll be getting. And so there's an opportunity to make a bit of your money from the sale of the NFT. And this team aren't taking any secondary market cut of those sales, I don't believe. I've looked at a few projects recently. I think it's that one that doesn't have any secondary royalties on that NFT sale. So effectively, you'll be getting the likelihood is you'll be getting your money back out with that NFT. If it drops 50%, you get half your money back out. You could think of it like that. However, if the project succeeds, the token value goes up, the NFT value goes up, then it doesn't take much success to really see your money come back out and a whole load more. So it is expensive in terms of getting in, but yeah, there's upsides. I certainly am looking at ways to go in for the Diamond Hands NFT, so that
Bloody hell, you must have big pocket. I need a 200 ADA. Bloody hell.
I think if you're gonna buy in, you might as well buy in properly. It's like,
you put your house on it.
Yeah, I'll remortgage. I'll get it. No, I don't know. I mean, say again, sorry.
Could sell a couple of children or a kidney.
I've got at least one kidney left. So.
Brilliant.
No, but I say this because I'm very positive about the game. The artwork they've got out of it so far is the most impressive thing. I haven't seen a game release artwork that looked as convincing as that early on. I'm not I don't understand massively multiplayer online role-playing games to a huge extent. I do know that it's an enormous market. The guys behind it have been in from, I've been seeing them around the community from day one when I've been here. So I know that they are Cardano hardcore enthusiasts. And because I'm so confident on the success of the Cardano ecosystem as a whole, I believe that, a rising tide floats all ships. So they've got a good chance of succeeding. And, there aren't a huge number of games on Cardano yet. So getting one started early means you've got a much larger chance of getting attention and then success. So yeah, I do think they're and I've got a much stronger draw because they've accepted Fluid Pool onto their initial stake pool offering. So I don't know. Okay, I don't know how much you know, Margot, about Cardano and how much about crypto and how deep you go. And yeah, oh, you're still muted.
I'm not 100% sure about the Cardano ecosystem, but in terms of, you know, cold wallets, hard wallets, all of the security features, yep, I'm down with all of that.
Awesome.
You know, the exchanges and NFTs, I'm still sort of wrapping my head around a little bit. A bit of yield farming, still sort of trying to get into that space. So I don't know if you have time to kind of go through a little bit of what ADA and the ecosystem and if there's, you know, different parts of it, or if that's something I need to research for myself, perhaps.
No, absolutely. We touch on all of that most weeks, so certainly I'll bring that in. And yeah, if any questions at any point, just stick. No matter how newbie, you know, we're all learning all the time, and so there's stuff I've forgotten that. So yeah, definitely probe and ask questions. So we were just touching on Machiavellic, which is a game being launched on Cardano, and we've got this opportunity to buy in early. The game is an online role-playing game, and the artwork they've released is really good. So the ecosystem in Cardano is based on proof of stake. So if you are a participant in the blockchain, then you're effectively running a node on the network, and they've got different sort of tiers of who runs these nodes on the network. If you are an investor, someone who wants to hold some Cardano, then you can run what's known as a Daedalus wallet, which is a full node wallet. So what that is doing is actually participating in the network. I wouldn't recommend it unless you've got a really strong urge to be doing fast, rapid trades on Cardano or something like that, because it is a 100 gig download or something. So it's no small feat, and it runs using quite a lot of CPU and so on and so forth. So it's the best wallet out there in terms of stability and access to the blockchain, rapid transactions, and all that sort of thing, because it's a full node. But the downsides are it's huge and kind of sluggish and not got the slickest UI and stuff like that. So I'm not selling it, am I? But the Daedalus wallet. Then you've got another tier of operator on the network, which are servers which run 24/7, and those are known as relays. So a relay node is used to pass transactions between all the different nodes on the network, including Daedalus. You then have block producing nodes, which are actually trusted with validating the blocks and minting the blocks, minting new currency in Cardano land. So the stake pool operators effectively run a block producing node and some relays to run their stake pool. And the way that the network agreement, the consensus is reached, is if everybody has got the same copy of the blockchain, and the proof of stake operators, these stake pool operators, are only given the right to mint new blocks, create new currency on the blockchain, if they've attracted enough trust from people who own ADA. So I've started Fluid Pool, and what we look to do is to attract people who trust what I'm, who know me, trust me, have learned from me, and then are willing to say, okay, this is a good operator on the network. He's going to be trusted to run his servers well and to not try and attack anybody. So I will take my holdings. So whatever you've got in your wallet in terms of ADA, you can say, I'm going to assign the weight of that ADA. I'm not going to give that ADA. I'm going to assign the weight of that ADA to this stake pool operator. And so if you have 500 ADA in your wallet, then you're assigning 500 ADA's worth of trust to that stake pool effectively. And so that's how the network grows, and that's how you get trusted operators on the network, by having this proof of stake model. So so far we as a stake pool, Fluid Pool have attracted, at the moment we've got about 111,000 ADA delegated to us. Our maximum was about 980,000, where we were part of this rotation of delegation. And the sort of goal for a small operator like us is to hit about 1,200,000 ADA, because then you're consistently minting blocks every 5 days. And so as someone who's decided, okay, we trust this operator, we're going to delegate to them, every time that pool then mints a block, you get rewarded for it. And so over the space of the year, whether you're with a small pool or a pool that's got above 1,200,000, then you'll be getting, on average over a year, between 4 and 5% interest on your holdings, effectively. So that's sort of a way to earn money on the network, and also assign trust to operators on the network. And so this proof of stake chain is worked on that basis. So one of the opportunities for making money above and beyond just staking, and actually a quick word on that, staking is completely safe. You hold your ADA all the time, you're just assigning the weight of it to a pool, and you can remove that trust at any point. You're not locked in at all. You can spend your ADA anytime you want. You can operate in exchanges, and you can still have your ADA staked in the meantime. So you've got lots of opportunities to earn that interest throughout the year, as well as participate in the ecosystem. So another opportunity is that stake pools like Fluid Pool can have what's called an initial stake pool offering. So anybody in the world can create their own token on the Cardano blockchain, and that's called a native token, and it sits underneath ADA. So you've got ADA as the sort of primary token. It's like the Ethereum of the Ethereum network, and then you've got these other ones like Sushi and Pancake and so on and so forth. They're tokens, like native tokens on Ethereum, and in Cardano you've got Cardano is the primary, and then you have these native tokens that can be built out. So anybody can create one of those. Of course, it's only going to be valuable if it's associated with some value exchange. So if there's a successful project that's being built and you can use that to buy stuff on that project, then that token will start to get value. And so this is where you see your vast increases in getting in early on a token, and then it growing over time because you're part of that whole rise. And so an initial stake pool offering is where a stake pool we're given an amount of this native token to distribute to everybody that is staked with that pool. And so it's a way for a stake pool to attract a whole load of trust all of a sudden, because everybody wants to get hold of this token, this value, this medium of storage of value that they think is going to be worth a lot more in the future. And so one of the first ISPOs we took part in was Sunday Swap, and I think most people here took part in that. Oh, hi, actually, by the way, I didn't see a sec. And so by delegating part of our holdings, so most of us kept some of it with Fluid Pool, put a bit into this Sunday Swap, one of the Sunday Swap pools, and then for a certain period of time you were being rewarded Sunday tokens. And so Sunday Swap is like a decentralized exchange built on Cardano, so it's like getting hold of some Sushi Swap tokens on Ethereum or something, and you see the value of those rise when the markets lift. And so the idea was we get some of that for free, effectively just delegating to that pool for a while. And then we can collect our Sunday Swap tokens, and they will rise in value, and at some point we'll sell them and buy a boat. The offering for Fluid Pool at the moment is that we've got this new game launching called Machiavellic, and they are looking for stake pool operators to take part in their ISPO. So they will give us a proportion of their tokens, seed tokens, that the pool will then distribute to anybody that's delegated to the pool. So we'll all earn. And I operate the pool, but I also have holdings with the pool. And so when the pool does well, my personal holdings go up as well. So it's my incentive to make sure that we're operating as well as we can and to take advantage of these offers that are out there. So on top of that, we'll be partaking in that ISPO, which is great news, and just got confirmed 2 days ago, so nobody else knew that, I don't think, yet. but we're in, which is great. There's going to be a total of 24 pools operating. So we will have some banter and some competition again on social media, trying to attract more attention. And typically with an ISPO, you do pull in more people. So that means the more people that stake with the pool, the more frequently we'll mint blocks, and the more regular our rewarding will be. But also, they've got this opportunity to actually buy into the token rather than just receive it for free. We can actually buy some at a dirt cheap price to begin as well. And so that's what Paul was asking about, is whether we do that or not. Yeah, and I think I'm going to try. I'm going to try and buy one of the NFTs, which then you'll receive some of these tokens for, which can then be used in the game down the road. And those are the tokens that will rise in value and be used to exchange between players of the game and people, and then will be able to be put onto the decentralized exchanges and swapped for other tokens. So you can, extract the value from the game, put it into ADA or wherever you want to store your long-term holdings. And so it's a good opportunity. But yeah, anything you do put in could go to zero very, very easily, because it's a brand new game. If the game never gets traction, the team falls out, then it will disappear along with anything else that's a startup. So there's risk involved, but with great risk comes potential for great reward. Yeah, so have you got any thoughts on that, Paul? Do you think you'll be buying in at any level, or?
Yeah, I'm buying in at the pauper level.
Pauper level, that's a good place to be, I think.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely going to say it's about to be my birthday song, but I already told the family I want Ada to go and buy it.
But great, well, that makes it easy for Maria. You must be quite easy to buy for these days. Yeah, get me more Ada.
It's either Ada, Ada socks or B products. Yeah, no, I know it's worth, if you've got 500 ADA, and I'm selling for Jonathan as well, getting into the staking pool, because obviously there's only a limited amount of us in there. And once we hit 10, then Jonathan's going to give out the goods.
Yeah, that's the other thing. So every pool can offer their own incentives for their delegators joining the pool. And so we've got a method for verifying yourself on Discord that you're a staker in the pool. If you go through all those steps, and they are quite painful, like anything in DeFi, but once you get to the end, then you are part of the stakers only channel, and that gives you so once we've hit 10, then I'm going to be doling out some additional tokens, some additional rewards for my early adopters. So we've got Gimbal tokens, which are a community token that's released by one of the earliest education / building houses on Cardano. They run workshops every week. The Plutus project-based learning is the course that's running at the moment, and it takes people and educates them from free on how to develop on Cardano, so using the Plutus language. So Haskell is the underlying language, and then it's been modularized, and a platform of development built on top of it called Plutus. And Plutus is what is used to run all the development of Cardano. So Haskell is a thing that is a language that the financial industry uses, and then you've got Plutus that is that's using the Haskell language and giving you functionality that's just related to the Cardano ecosystem. And so Gimbal Labs are training people on how to develop in Plutus, and I've been involved in their sessions from I think it was early as February 21, which is only last year, but that's decades in terms of a normal in terms of the crypto industry. So I've got access on there to some things, one of which is the tokenomics working group. They've released their token, the Gimbal token. We're using it to incentivize people to build things for the community. So whether that is writing code or timestamping community videos for YouTube, or editing videos for YouTube, writing articles, all these things can get incentivized with the Gimbal token. and we're working at the moment to get those tokens brought into the distribution platforms. Like, it's already on Dripdrops. We're going to get it onto Smartclaimz and these other distribution platforms, so that they are being given out to delegators to stake pools as well. But at the moment, there's only 2 pools that are being part of that sort of stake pool offering, and I'm working on the group to bring in the next layer of pools, and as being part of that working group, I've been given a whole load of these gimbal tokens I can then distribute to you for rewards. So you'll be getting some of those if you manage to get to the end of the staking and then verifying on Discord. So far, there's only been 5 of us, I think, have managed to get that far. It may just be too high higher bar for entry, but we'll get there, and I'm sure you will. So there's a whole video, step-by-step video, which I'll post in Discord as well. So in Discord, if you're not aware, there's a chat that is specific to this voice channel, so you can get to it, like Archie just posted it a minute ago. You can get to it again without having to join a voice call by hovering over the Hangout little icon and text for the channel, and you get 3 icons pop up, one of which is open chat, so you can always get back to that chat from there. And so I'll be putting the links from the past. I think you should be able to see the history of all the links we've been pasting in there as well, but there's loads of material to be looking at. We were just talking about, oh dear, lost where we were entirely. I was going to paste a link in there for it's gone, never mind. Oh no, that was it, the YouTube video
on your staking pool.
Yeah, so let me start sharing screen, actually do a bit more interesting stuff for the YouTube followers. So you're seeing that okay. There should be a streaming window in the Discord now, and if you come to YouTube, you can search for Fluid 7. Fluid 7 is my web development company. We've been running for 10 years or so. We only joined working on the blockchain space. Well, yeah, February last year was when I started, and I started bringing the business in as well this year. So we've got Fluid Pools staking tutorial, which is 30 minutes long, and it takes you step by step through. There's some rudimentaries in there that you probably won't need, like setting up a password manager. But then we go on to moving your ADA, buying the ADA in the first place, so probably on a centralized exchange, moving it over to a wallet. We work with the Eternal wallet. That's the one I recommend the most at the moment. And then actually registering on Discord for the bonus rewards. So there we go.
Yeah, I had a question about that. Are we already done from the early days with that, Jonathan? Or is there like something additional now to do?
You are all done. Yeah, you're fully verified. So you're queued up, ready for rewards.
Cool. Because I saw your post in the Fluid Pool chat or comments, but I haven't rewatched your new video.
Oh, okay, yeah. So if you want to go over the basics and the rudimentaries, the fundamentals, then you could watch that. And yeah, if anything in there doesn't make sense as you're watching it, please tell me, because you know you're always blinded to your own work. And there are timestamps as well, so you can jump into the bits that are particularly interesting to you down in the comments. So go to show more, and then you can jump through to particular sessions. So if you're all okay with everything ADA, you can just jump straight to registering
So,
your bonus.
Once you
Rewards
have
on there.
delegated your
Cool. So I need to drop that link into the chat so you can actually find it easily. Yes. And so, you know, as part of being a delegate to the pool, then we get early access to some offers of anything that I'm aware of. So this Machiavellic game, because I'm operating in the initial stake pool offering for them, then they've offered some of us early access to this funding round where we can actually buy their token before it's launched to the rest of the world at a discounted price. So that's where the conversation started. Any other questions that people have got at the moment? Any?
You're mentioning about Dripdrops. So has that like increased with the number of tokens in the last days or whatever because of the vessel hard fork?
They haven't. I mean, they were operating the same before the hard fork as afterwards. I just meant that so during the actual launch, in the few hours afterwards, they were blitzing the network just to thoroughly load it up with transactions to try and make sure that everything's operating at 100%. The guys behind the Dripdrops team are OGs, so they've been in around for a year or two before I started, and they're stake pool operators, some of them, and they got in so early that they've been able to buy vast amounts of ADA, so they're all ADA millionaires, not all ADA millionaires, but they've got a good amount of holdings, and one of them, Andrew Westberg, is a really accomplished software developer, and so he is very good at well, actually he's probably more of a network engineer, I'd say, even. So he understands it down to the protocol level, so he can build and build software that will test and fully leverage all the power in the network, and so one of those things is Firehose, which is the technology that Dripdrops is built on top of, and it was the sort of first mass distribution mechanism for tokens. So it means that so one of the really unique things about Cardano as opposed to Ethereum, for example, is that because we use this UTXO model, it means that you can actually bundle in lots of transactions, what would be called a transaction on Ethereum. You can bundle lots of them into one transaction on Cardano. So when you see metrics like Solana is doing 30,000 transactions per second or whatever they're claiming, that is probably more than the Cardano blockchain can do, even fully out. But so for example, Ethereum may be doing 50 or something transactions per second, and Cardano's figures will be touted as 5 per second. But that's talking about 5 of Cardano transactions, which are UTXO transactions. So within that, you can have 50, 100 equivalent transactions to what you get on Ethereum. So you've got a factor, an indefinite factor of multiplication in there, just based on how heavily you pack those blocks. And so Firehose was one of the first large-scale tools to be built up that actually bundles whole transactions into a single one and distributes that to network. So it's a really good tool for load testing any of the testnet chains, and that was done before the launch, and now it's mainnet has launched with Vassal. They used it last night to, well, I'm assuming they used Firehose to test load balance the network, and so yeah, they're a good team for stress testing stuff. Basically, they've got a lot of attention, they've got a lot of ADA, they've got some really powerful tools at their disposal, and so yeah, I rate those guys highly. yeah, there's quite a lot of jealousy towards them in the ecosystem as well, because they are in early and they've got good holdings. So there's, some negative press around some of the ways they operate. But yeah, to me, it's just, early adopter advantage, and you can't take that away from them. And they all contribute really well to the ecosystem. So yeah, no hard feelings whatsoever from me. Yeah, and so they get a good test last night. Sorry, Paul.
I would say, obviously, Gary's husband and myself, maybe some of the others were obviously involved in the Field at 9. What's the next phases to that? Because obviously that's all new for myself as well.
Yeah, so we've yeah, again, go get to basics just quickly. So every transaction that happens on Cardano blockchain has a fee attached to it, and it's a very small fee compared to the gas fees elsewhere. So a typical transaction has a 0.17 ADA transaction fee attached to that. That goes into the treasury, which is managed by Cardano Foundation. But 20% of every transaction fee on the network is carved off into a treasury that can be used to fund innovation on the network. And so this innovation fund is growing in value all the time. At the peak, it was about $1 billion worth of ADA. And so every approximately quarter, every 3 months, 3 months plus 2 weeks now, because I've added in a gap. And then last time there was 3 more weeks because they had some software issues. So 4 months, 4 months and a month and a week. They run this fund, which has got $60 million worth of ADA to distribute to anybody who's got a bright idea and wants to share it with the community. And so as part of the participating in the ecosystem, I have some proposals into that fund requesting grant funding effectively, so that I can build some stuff with my team on Cardano. And within this project Catalyst, as it's called, there are different mechanisms for earning ADA, exchanging your time to earn ADA. And so one of the ways is, well, first off, just by voting. So if you hold more than 500 ADA, which actually is why Paul was saying about 500 ADA earlier, you can delegate to a stake pool with 5 ADA. So you don't have to hold much at all. If you want to get involved in voting in Project Catalyst, then you need about 500 ADA. So with that 500 ADA, you get voting power of 500, and you can pick through the proposals out there, the ones that you like, and say, yes, I'd like to see this one built. And then the proposers, if they're successful, they achieve enough votes, and they fit within the allocation of the fund for that challenge that they're trying to solve, then they get funding for it, and they can go and build on the network. And so you get rewarded for voting. You also get rewarded for assessing proposals that are put into the Project Catalyst system. And so Utan and Paul are becoming proposal assessors, where they will read proposals and give their opinion on whether they're going to be successful, whether it's a good idea, whether there's any major flaws. And the input into these proposals doesn't have to be technical. It can be about anything, about whether they've are asking for enough budget to actually do what they think they're going to be able to do, whether they've got the right ingredients for the team, or asking questions. Okay, you obviously have no marketing experience. How are you going to market it? That might be a valid question to ask in the proposal assessment phase. And then the teams can come back with, well, actually, we're partnering with this marketing firm, or this team already have a marketing handler in place, so we'll be leveraging their abilities. Or this is a purely technical solution. It'll just be installed on the network and people can make use of it, or not, so we don't need to market it. Those sorts of discussions and questions can happen. And as a proposal assessor, you're rewarded for playing that role. So we've just had voting finish last week for Fund 9. And Fund 9 is the 9th round of funding that we've had, easily named, and there'll be $60 million worth of ADA used to pay voters and proposing assessors and the proposal winners themselves. The other way to earn money from Project Catalyst, or to be rewarded, you're incentivized, is to refer people. So if you tell somebody about Project Catalyst and they say, oh, that's a great idea, I've got this great idea for a project, I need some funding for it, they put in a proposal and they win that funding, then because you referred them to Project Catalyst, you get a referral reward fee as well. And so that can be another way to earn ADA. And so the Project Catalyst is really about incentivizing participation and actually taking a part in voting in the ecosystem, which determines the direction that we go with as a ecosystem. So if we get enough people who are really interested in equality and say, okay, we need to engage more women in blockchain development, then that can be a challenge that's set in one of the funds. Say there's one called Bringing More Women to Cardano, I think it's called, and actually an ex-employee of mine is heading up that work, and so she's got it's not actually in yet, but it's been written. So this challenge has been proposed to go into Fund 10. So if it wins, then there will be a proportion of budget in that $60 million fund that will go towards paying proposals that are engaging or encouraging the engagement of women in Cardano blockchain. And so you can use this sort of voting mechanism to steer portions of the fund towards the things that you are passionate about and interested in. So it's really a massive experiment in governance as well as fund distribution. So actually, if we can nail decision making as a global community, we are modeling a national voting system. So actually, with the way that Cardano is built and the vision that Charles Hoskinson, the founder, has, we've got this thing emerging. We've got Cardano, a financial operating system for the world. You've got Project Catalyst, which is the governance layer that sits within Cardano. If we can build those two in parallel, then you'll end up with a financial operating system that effectively supplements or replaces the traditional finance system, banking system, and you have a governance model that can replace the Federal Reserve, the Bank of England, and so on and so forth, with a people-powered decision-making process. And so that's the grand vision, the grand plan. If we can nail down governance on this small level with a $60 million fund, then we can scale it up to work on a global level potentially. So actually we could have monetary policy being set by the people who hold the money rather than by the people who hold the most money, which is a real it's one of the beautiful things about Cardano, and that's why I'm here, is that it's got this attitude. We need to spread wealth to the edges. We need to actually improve humanity as a whole, not just the people right at the top of the pyramid. We need to do grassroots building. We need to get grassroots decision making, and so Project Catalyst and engaging it is well incentivized because we want people to be taking responsibility for getting that desire to vote back again that we've kind of lost in the apathy of our national elections, because we get no choice. We get bad player 1 or bad player 2. We choose bad player 2, and he goes back on his promises that he made anyway, and that's kind of what we've accepted will happen in perpetuity in our voting system. So actually, if we can get this working on a small scale that's actually got financial backing, then actually that can come in and grow and start to make decisions in our nations as well, is the hope. Went off on a bit of a rant there, didn't I? Where did it? What was the initial question? Is what's next for fund for participators of the proposal assessor? So Fund 10 will kick off once Fund 9 vote rewards have been issued. So we've got those have been tallied. So there's an initial count that's been done, and so we've got some stats on how involved the participation in the voting has been this time round. And actually, we've doubled the number of participants in the vote over Fund 8, which is huge. It's a massive jump up. So I don't know what that's entirely down to. I suspect it may well be to do with the improvements that's been done to the voting app itself. It was a lot easier to vote this time round for me. It's always been a bit of a chore, but this time it was a lot easier, a lot smoother. And so that's probably helped more people actually get their votes in. I suspect people were being turned off by the tech. So now that's done. The initial tallies and some stats, like we've had double the number of voters, have come in. But now the actual voting results will come in a week or so. And so then you'll know if the proposals that we're involved in have been funded or not. We have been in 2 previous rounds and haven't received any successful. We've been voted for each time positively and have been assigned budget. We've been assigned the money by people's voting power, but the budget takes it from the top. So the people with the most votes get rewarded first, up to the budget set in that challenge. And so if you fall outside of that budget setting, then you don't get. So you are voted for, you have won the vote, but you don't get funded. And so that's where we've fallen each time so far, just because we haven't managed to get enough votes in. So this time we'll see where we get to. But yeah, that's where Fund 9 is up to. Once that finishes, then Fund 10 will open up. So the results of Fund 9 will also determine the challenges that are set for Fund 10. So those will be things like this: bringing more women to Cardano, and Grow Cardano, Grow Africa, and dApps products and integrations. All these sort of categories are where proposal writers are then they set a challenge and they try and solve that challenge, and they think how what they want to build can solve the challenge, and then write a proposal and an appeal for funds based on that. So it's a clever system. It's hard work, to be honest, in lots of areas, and it's hard to achieve consistency with a funding cycle like this, which means it's very slow process for me moving my firm into blockchain development full time, because there aren't that many people looking for development teams to build stuff for them with no track record, and so this Project Catalyst is a really good way of doing that. If we can get a vote that says yes, this team looks like they can deliver on what they're offering to build, and you're not giving money from your own wallet, you're giving it from the treasury pool, so everybody's paying a tiny percent, 20% of every transaction fee is going towards it. So it's a very low cost for us as individuals, but high return in terms of quality of apps and direct in having a say in the direction that the ecosystem is built out in. So Fund 10 challenges will come from Fund 9, which have been written already, and then we'll see where the direction of building will go for Fund 10. The proposal submission phase will then open up. So all the proposal writers will read through the challenges, figure out solutions that they want to build, write proposals. They'll go up onto the idea scale platform, and then you will have what's it called? I can't remember the name of that phase at the moment. It's like an initial feedback phase. So that's where you, Paul and Atan, can start interacting with people who've written proposals, read through them. Those proposals aren't locked down yet, so any sort of feedback and say this is how you could improve, that sort of feedback can start to happen. We think you're missing this. It'd be great to see a bit more detail on your how you're going to spend the money that you're given. Justify it to me, and you will justify it to the voters as a whole. And so you can participate from that point on. Then the proposals will get locked down, and that's when the proposal assessors then go through and see whether their instructions, whether their suggestions have been adhered to, and they will rank those proposals on a scale of 1 to 5, how well the proposals proposals that have been written meet the criteria for achieving a vote. So if they go through there, you've got a 4 out of 5 star, then that's good enough to get a high profile in the voting app. And then the proposal assessors work is finished, and then you have the veteran proposal assessors. And so those veterans will go in and assess how well they think the proposal assessors have done their job. So if you've done your job well and read the proposals and given good feedback and an appropriate rating, then the veteran proposal assessors will say, yes, this guy deserves funding for his work. If you're a bot and you've just spammed the idea scale with a whole load of nonsense, then the veteran proposal assessors will pick you up, flag you for misbehavior, and you'll get no rewards. So that is a real problem in Catalyst, and each fund, there's been new measures put in place to try and combat the bot attacks, but it's improving all the time. And this is, again, the sort of testing ground, the proving ground for a much more robust system going down the road. If we can defend ourselves against bot attacks at this level, and the bots are being paid to attack almost. So it's like, if you're a proposal assessor and you're being paid for it, then I can write a script that will just try and go after the money there. That's a sort of attack surface that we need to keep open, because we know that's going to be the real case in a larger scale system. So we keep that attack surface open. We say everybody can be paid, everybody can be rewarded for being a proposal assessor, and then we need to figure out, okay, how do we start to prove that the people participating are real humans, that they're not gaming the system, that they are contributing valid things, and so we're building up a body of knowledge around how to run a public voting system that's incentivized to vote. So there's a pot of money there that every robber in the world is incentivized to go after. If you're clever enough, you can go after this money. It's sitting here, we're giving it away for free, but we will try and stop you from gaming the system. But come try, please, so that we can defend ourselves in the future. And so this sort of gaming, incentivizing mechanism is being written and thought of from the ground up as well in all of Cardano. And Cardano's approach has been, let's get the brightest minds, let's get the academics involved, let's write white papers, let's have them attack each other and peer review, rip each other to shreds, and then rewrite it from the ground up and come up with a really solid approach. Let's apply mathematics and cryptography to make sure that everything is verifiable with a formula that's testable. If it adheres to our mathematical testing formulas, then it can pass the grade. And that sort of level of scrutiny and gaming is written in from the Cardano blockchain point of view, and also for this governance Project Catalyst point of view, so we can get the most out of it. And yeah, so far we're doing a really good job. I think it's there's definitely hiccups, there's definitely ups and downs, but people are being rewarded, people are being incentivized. There are more and more people moving full time into making a living on Project Catalyst. That we're seeing people's lives changed, and it's exciting. It's really cool. So yeah, being a proposal assessor will kick in really once the votes and results are out and the proposals have been written, and it goes into that ideation phase, and you can start then giving some feedback and doing some reading around. But yeah, nothing to do just yet for you guys, but yeah, it's coming. There are other things to be involved in as well. So one of the jobs I took on was to be a challenge team assessor. So the challenges are written each fund, and then for the following fund, those challenges have teams writing proposals to try and meet that challenge. And so the challenge team idea was that, okay, the people who wrote the challenge, or people who wanted to, who were associated with that challenge, could then form a team and support the people writing those proposals. So the winning funded proposers in that challenge then got to work with technical experts or business experts or marketing experts to really help them see through their project development to get the most out of the money that we're giving them. And so that challenge team role is another funded role in Project Catalyst. So you could, join a challenge team. You can write challenges as well, join a challenge team, and then really guide a team of engineers into meeting that challenge, or a team of anybody really to meet those challenges. So if you want to create your own career out of it, then it's very possible. And even within Project Catalyst, there's like a community group that I'm involved in heavily as well, called Catalyst Swarm, and it's a community entirely owned by the community. So none of the sort of private companies that wrote Cardano or the foundation, the non-profit foundation that runs it, are part of this community, or are in control of the community. It's a community collective called Catalyst Swarm, and they have been given an assignment of gimbal tokens, and so they are paying people in gimbals and ADA to timestamp the videos, the community videos. So every week on Wednesday evenings, there is a town hall where IOG and Cardano Foundation come and talk to the community about what they're doing, mostly IOG to be honest. And then after that town hall, there are a whole load of breakout rooms in Zoom where the community just gets together and talks about things that they want to. And so all those are recorded, all those are put onto YouTube, and they're all getting timestamped by community members who are being paid from gimbal tokens and ADA. And so we're really building up this self-serving grassroots community that pays people for time and effort, at a really sort of low sustainable level, as opposed to high yield, massive reward. Not to say that won't happen, but it'll happen in the projects that are built out, who actually have successfully launched out of Project Catalyst. So Machiavellic is going for some funding in Catalyst, as for example. DC Spark, which is a team that wrote Milkometer and Wing Riders and so on, who have put in Cardano improvement proposals and written software. They're writing the exchanges, these decentralized exchanges. They all launched out of Project Catalyst as well. And so we're really seeing teams attract funding, get off the ground, and then produce these massive revenue generation tools like the exchanges to go on and have success. And the community who participated in Catalyst may have got hold of some of their tokens early on, and so they're seeing their big rewards come through from the success of the exchanges and the dApps that are coming out of Catalyst. So you can participate and earn at a sort of low income level, and then you can also have your potential high reward returns just because you're ear to the ground, you're hearing things that are going on, and that's where a little community like this within a larger community pays off, because you can only hear so much news before your head explodes. And so this is more of a small stream of information that is coming out of one person's mouth, rather than the flood of it that's out there on Twitter or Discord as a whole. And so any opportunities that we pick up, we come and share them here and get to hear about them, and we rate them and research them and invest if we want to, or don't if we don't. So any other practical questions? We've got about another half hour if you want to make use of it.
okay for now. I've got to go back and I suppose start from the beginning and just go through each part of your whatever you call them, your steps, your how to, and so I'll leave it for somebody else to ask the question.
Perfect. Yeah, watch that video. It should do. Hopefully, it'll do a good job of hand-holding you through it all. But yeah, any questions that come off the back of it, just come in and ask here. And Discord's open.
Yeah, great.
Full time, so you write text questions in, and we'll get back to you.
Great. Thank you.
So one thing that I thought that's just launched last week or a week before that I thought you'd be interesting is a new wallet, sort of coin stats and coin tracker that show you how much your holdings are worth and so on and so forth. There's one that's launched on Cardano now, just for native token valuation, which is very cool. So if you're holding Sunday Swap or Gimbal tokens and Meld and all these guys, you can actually get the value of them from the exchanges aggregated into a single platform now, in a nice way. So I'll share that with you if that's of interest to you. So the tool is Taptools, it's called. Let me zoom in a bit, give you a bit more. And it pulls in graphs from trading view and connects to wallets with unsigned transactions. So you don't have to sign anything to actually interact with it, which means you're not signing away your money. You're just getting read-only access to your wallet, which is another beautiful thing about Cardano. And then it shows you what your portfolio is worth. So I will connect. So it's got these charts, for example, for starters. You're seeing it, okay? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So you can see most of them are token pairs, so you can see the price as it correlates to ADA, and you've got the history going back. It's a full-blown trading view chart, which is very cool to see. And this is for ADA, obviously, as well as all the native tokens underneath it. So if you're particularly interested in, say, Meld, which is another ISPO some of us got tokens from, you can see the exchanges that the valuations are coming from. So that's Sunday Swap, that's Min Swap, Wing Riders, which means that those decentralized exchanges have their token pairs on the exchanges that you can go in and make swaps with, and so you can get a price from each of those actually aggregated and averaged out in the Taptools platform. So you can see that Meld over the past 4 hours has been on a downer, so that might be a good time to buy. And some metrics about market cap and so on and so forth. So even though it says a native token, we're not benefiting from the high profile platforms like CoinMarketCap and CoinGecko much as of yet. Most of these tokens aren't on there. The bulk of them are actually on here now, which is very cool. So it's gathered everything that's come off the dexes that we know about and pulled it onto the one platform. It is also a token distribution platform. So if you do connect your wallet on here, then it'll tell you which tokens you can claim for cheap as well. Free tokens that are in part of ISPOs. So here you can see lots of SHIT coins. Hosky is the most popular meme coin, and most of these are worth nothing, probably but will never be worth anything. But hey, if you like the look of it, go and grab some. And every now and then there'll be a project coin on here that is actually worth looking at. But so far, there's I'm not seeing anything exciting here. And I've sort of seen most of these on other distribution platforms already, like Dripdrops.
So are these like gaming tokens?
They can be gaming tokens, or stake pools can launch their own tokens. Some of them are just like Twitter feeds who decide they want to have a token, and they'll give it out to people on their Twitter feed as a promotional event. They can be NFT projects that then say, we've got fungibles as well as non-fungibles, and you can go and get them for very low cost, for free, effectively, from these platforms. So you attach your wallet to it, or put in your receive address, and it'll tell you which tokens you're allowed to collect and how much it'll cost you. And typically on these platforms, it'll cost you a maximum of about 5 ADA for up to 10 tokens. I think that's what Dripdrop's pricing is like. I haven't actually looked at the pricing drops from claiming off here, but it'll be similar sort of thing. Because the transaction fee is 0.17, and then there'll be like 2 ADA or something taken for the platform that's offering you the token distribution. And then maybe the project will take a portion of that as well. So you are funding people's operations, but you'll get given a whole load of tokens that might be worth something, probably won't be worth anything. So you
I think I'd probably prefer to put it towards a good cause or something worthwhile than risking it in this sort of area.
Yeah. So yeah, actually, on that note, most of the platforms to date, you've had access to those tokens for a 5-day epoch period, and then they're all, if you were 100, so like, for example, there's a project on at the moment called Do Your Own Research tool, from ScatDAO, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, has written this bit of software called Do Your Own Research, and it's a really useful tool for evaluating crypto projects. So it gives you things to look out for, like founding team members, what their tokenomics are like, what technical ability they've had in the past, things like that. And sort of, it's like a checklist, like, okay, let's go and read about this, let's go and find out about this, and then you can decide if they're a project that's worth investing in or not. Great tool. And they've released a token to help fund the development of that tool called the Audit Token. And so as a delegator to Fluid Pool, you can go and pick up 100 audit tokens every epoch from the Tosidrop distribution platform. You're paying, that might be 5 ADA.
It's 2.4, I think.
It's 2.4, okay. So you're paying 2.4 ADA, so you're giving over some of your hard-earned ADA for an audit token, which might be worth something at some point, but you're not sure if it will or not. But you are helping fund a team that's giving you a very useful tool to use. So it's like, that kind of makes sense to me. That I don't mind paying 2.4 ADA for that every now and then. But again, every epoch you're losing the 100 from the last one if you didn't collect it. And there's another tool, distribution platform coming out called Smartclaimz, which is going to aggregate all the tokens you're allowed to collect over time. So that means you can do one transaction every month or quarter or something and collect all the tokens at once without paying multiple transaction fees every 5 days. You can just pay one transaction fee and get the whole load of them. So that's a really exciting development. So that's Smartclaimz from the freeloaders team. And actually, I'm applying to have Gimbal tokens distributed from that platform. Yeah, sorry.
Can you share the links, things that you're talking about?
Yes.
So we can keep an eye out for them.
Good shout. Thank you, Robin. So this is the Taptools one, which is I'm showing you now, although I'm getting distracted. There's also Smartclaimz, which is the aggregator distribution platform. Was there something else I mentioned? Tosidrop, which is where you can collect the audit tokens for delegating to Fluid Pool. And Smartclaimz.
Is there any way that you could actually go in and help some of these tokens, what really is behind them?
Sorry, you're breaking up pretty badly, Paul. Say that again, maybe.
I said, is there any way that you can actually go in and check out some of these tokens and what's in the background of them, whether they actually are worth getting or not?
Yeah. So the token distribution platforms themselves will normally link through to. Oh, my second screen's gone again. Does this every time I screen share? Something goes wrong. Give me 1 second. I'll be back. So yeah, the token distribution platforms will have a link through to the website. You can go in and find the projects behind it. I wanted Taptools. So, for example, if we wanted to look at the Underpants token, which I suspect is probably not going to have a lot of, white paper material to scan through, you've just got a link to the website. So then you can go and have a look at the website, find out what the Nomies is. Say, oh, actually, this looks a bit more professional than I thought it was going to. We've actually got a website, and what's a Nomi? Some kind of collection of NFTs for a NFT project, it looks like to me. And they're going to be distributing comic books, all to do with the Nomies over time. So it's like, okay, actually, it's a nice little creative arts project. I may not, I don't have much faith that the token will be worth anything anytime soon, but I might find a project that I want to support from a, it's something that aligns with my purpose in life, so I want to support it. And so you could find projects like that through there. But if you're looking for hard-nosed economic returns, this isn't probably the place to do it. It is a good way potentially of having access to early projects who actually start to use these platforms to distribute as well. So the one that has come through of value through the distribution platforms, Dripdrops in particular, is the Sunday Swap token. So they were the first large-scale DEX to release their token through Dripdrops. And so you knew it was worth going into Dripdrops and collecting your Sunday Swap tokens. And that wasn't about browsing through all the other tokens. It was just about finding Sunday Swap, going and getting it if you wanted it. Now, actually, saying that, an update. I haven't collected my Sunday Swap token from Dripdrops yet because Sunday Swap were going to be releasing their own faucet to release those tokens. And I checked back again in with the team this week to see if they had that faucet anytime soon, and they're still saying Q4 2022. So we should see it before the end of the year. If you do want to hold off and before collecting your tokens, you can do it from there still. That seems to be the plan. They are also still available on Dripdrops if you want to get them from there, where you'll just pay a small fee. The faucet will send them to you for free. Dripdrops will charge you 0.17 to pick them up. So yeah, I mean it's not really a price to go and pick them up from there. So if you just want them in your wallet, where you own them, probably worthwhile doing rather than hanging on any longer for Sunday Swap because they've had a year to do it and they haven't managed yet. But yeah, quick update on that. But yes, the do your own research tool is a good place. If you were really finding something on here, you thought actually that might have some merit taken out there. You can actually go and do a thorough job on researching it and submit it to the do your own research project. That might be cool. But anyway, distracted. What on here I want to show you was the portfolio tab in particular. So here you can actually create an account if you want to provide your email address. You can do. That's only really worth doing if you're actually going to onboard a token onto this platform. So I wouldn't recommend you doing it. Again, you're just giving over private information to a private company, and that's what we're trying to get away from in the Web3 world. Unless there's a need for you to know my email address, I'm not going to give it to you. So instead, what you can do is just connect your wallet, which it's a bit of a mind tilt to think, actually, I'm connecting a wallet instead of just sharing my email address, but they don't have any ability to spend from the wallet. They're just being able to read from it. And because your wallet on Cardano is essentially, if you are staked, essentially the contents of your wallet are public access information, because anybody can see what is in anybody's wallet that is staked. So that's one thing you might want to be aware of. If you do stake with Fluid Pool, people can go into the blockchain explorers like pool.pm, find Fluid Pool, find everybody who's delegated to Fluid Pool, and click through and find out what's in your wallet. So if they know something about you, if you're a fan of Nomies, then they think you hold Nomies. They could go and see, okay, this looks like this person's wallet. Let's see what else they've got. So if you don't want people snooping in your wallet, then you can't participate in staking, unfortunately. But I do, so I consider the contents of my wallet public information, and so connecting a platform like this to it is, I've got over the fear of that. Again, wait until you're really comfortable. Don't take my word for it, but yeah, do that. And so it will then give you a valuation of what's in your wallet. So this reckons there's about 16,000 ADAs worth of assets in my wallet. That's including ADA and all the native tokens that I've collected through various means. So if you then go into your portfolio, you need to log in to actually have a portfolio. Yeah. So yeah, they're quite clever in terms of restricting the features that you really want access to behind a paywall, and not paywall, but a data wall. So here, let me just log in, and then you can get an experience for what it looks and works like. Bear with, it's loading. Oh, it's gone in with the wrong account. Sorry, I don't want to connect my wallet to this one. I'm detached again. So I can log in with my account, not the Gimbals community account. And we can see a portfolio of everything in the wallet gathered together into a really useful chart. So it's giving you a valuation of all the tokens in your wallet. So I've got LQ tokens, which were airdropped to me, which was awesome. And that's worth 12,000 ADA at the moment, which is great. The ADA I've got hold of at the moment, and then the World Mobile tokens, which I bought. And so it gives you figures, price movements, valuations. It's pulled this information off the decentralized exchanges. So in theory, you can go and actually swap any of these tokens for ADA and extract the value from them. Some of them just won't be listed on exchanges, so they won't have a price brought through. Some of them will have zero liquidity. So like this Gimbal token, you can't get hold of it from an exchange at the moment, because we are shying away from listing it on exchanges, because what you'll find is that tokens are able to pump their prices up, and so actually you've got an inflated price, an inflated valuation on a token, because they have bought a load of ADA and they got their native token, they've put that onto an exchange, created liquidity on an exchange, and then they shout about it on social media. People will just buy in for the sake of, oh, exciting new token, let's buy into that. But there's actually no value underlying it. And that's what the Gimbal token is shying away from. We really want to have people exchanging it because they've earned it, or they are looking to incentivize somebody to do something for the community, some benefit the community. So we're really trying to build a solid base of value exchange, of paying people bounties for participating in the network, so that the price, when it does actually end up on exchanges, will be have come from people who've earned that token, rather than from the founders just creating a billion out of thin air and dumping them onto an exchange and hoping people will buy them. But again, that's a whole tokenomics and token engineering conversation that it's typical in the community. There are workshops on it that I can refer you to if you are interested, because anybody can create a token. And then this tool gives you a really handy snapshot of everything that you have in that particular wallet, and it aggregates wallets as well, so you can attach multiple wallets to it. So a really useful tool and brand new. So yeah, I like that a lot. You can dive through and see charts on each of the tokens as well, and see if it's time to buy or sell or whatnot. So really handy. I touched on something else that I was going to jump to. Not sure. I think maybe it was the do your own research tool. Oh, who wrote this? Catalyst. So the tool that I talked about, you can get hold of their token by delegating to Fluidpool, is the audit token, and they have written this research tool, which we've actually dropped this link a couple of times before, but I'll bring it back down from above, just so we have a reminder, because that's a useful tool if you are going out to research projects. A useful tool to then go and look. And give you a decent checklist on the things to look out for.
Yeah, I've struggled with and actually find out how to use that tool.
Oh, okay. Okay, I can go through. I can go through. It's probably not enough time to get grips on it today, so maybe we'll do that next week. But
awards in your draft. I think they were talking about giving out the 10,000 ADA plus their audit tokens, and that was pretty hefty reward.
So who was that? Sorry, you cut off right at the beginning. I didn't see here.
I said I've seen that they've offered some pretty hefty rewards.
ScatDAO.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I missed that. So they're offered 10,000 ADA as.
Actually, I think it's 10,000 audit tokens,
okay,
and 2,000 ADA for the first prize.
Oh, for people who've used their tool. Yeah. I did hear that. Yes, actually, yes.
Yeah.
I think that closed out this week. So yeah, if you have used the tool and written an audit of using their tool of one of the projects, then you can claim your prize or enter yourself for the prize. So that'd be a way of bumping your audit token holdings up for sure. And the oh dear, no, mine's bouncing all over the place. But yeah, Tosidrop is where you can go and collect it. So if you go into Tosidrop, if you're delegated to Fluidpool, put in your receive address, you can check your rewards, and they're still distributing the audit token from there. So 100. Now the Smartclaimz platform is the one that's new, and this is going to be the aggregator. So I think they're relying just on the DApp connector. So let's try that from here as well. So yeah, this was. Am I sharing that? You're not seeing the terminal pop up.
Yeah. No, it's on the screen.
So I can't see it on the stream. I'm just seeing the loading wallet on the stream. There's actually a pop-up window from Eternal Wallet. I don't think I'm sharing that. So let me just screenshot it, actually. You can see what I'm looking at. So that's the pop-up window, and there's a good demonstration of of the various different ways that a dApp is just a website that's running some blockchain aware code. So in this case, we are letting the website, the dApp, see the contents of our wallet, and so they've implemented a different Cardano improvement proposal that gives you a bit more transparency when you connect your wallet as to what you're actually giving access to. So this is telling us we're going to connect. We've got a connection request from a dApp, and the website that you're connected to is smartclaimz.io, so that you just confirm that that matches what you're seeing in your address bar. If that is different from what's in the address bar, then you're probably trying to be spoofed. It's a little security check you can do, and then it's this will, by giving the dApp the connector conforming to CIP30, Cardano Improvement Proposal number 30. This will allow the dApp to read your balance and prompt you to sign transactions, but you'll be able to review a transaction before signing. So you're not signing anything here. You're just being told what the connection to the site will then have the ability to do, which is read from your wallet and offer you signing transactions, actually pay through this website. So I'm not delegated to any of the participating pools, so I can't see any tokens to claim. But we will have Gimbal tokens on here as well, and I will probably apply to be a part of this, be one of their pools as well. I haven't just yet because it requires a bit more hardware resource than I'm willing to share at the moment. But as the the pool grows, as revenue increases, then I can upgrade hardware and actually release more features to people publicly, like these guys do already. And then we can participate in their ISPO, and we'll be able to list on this platform as well. But it's not just yet. So you'd have to form another wallet, put some of your ADA into there if you wanted to delegate and collect tokens from this platform. Their token that's available at the moment is the FLZ token, and that is Freeloaders team's own token. So it's a way for them to distribute their token, and they are onboarding other tokens at the moment. One of which I'm working with them to onboard the Gimbal token. But yeah, whether either of those tokens will amount to anything worth investing in is debatable. I like them both. I hold them both, but that's because I have cheap and easy access to them, and I don't mind exchanging a couple of ADA for getting hold of them. But I haven't bought in with any of my sort of holdings overtly. But yeah, that'll be a useful tool going forward. I'm positive as they grow and more tokens launch on there, that could be worth looking at as a potential to get a wallet for. Cool. Any? Say that again, Paul. You've gone really quiet now.
Are they on Discord?
Smartclaimz, yes. Freeloaders is the name of their platform. I'll drop an invite on there. I think it's under the SPO. I have too many servers I'm part of. There we go. So there we go. That should be up. That should work for 7 days, I think. And you can join their Freeloaders platform. and see if anything piques your interest in there. They're a good group of guys. They're all stake pool operators. Excuse me. They do have a good attitude towards the network. They are keen on supporting, making a success of everybody, and not just they're very generous organizations of pool operators. A lot of them are in the extra small stake pool operator alliance that I'm part of, and contribute really valuable information all the time. So I rate them as a team, and they also hold Twitter Spaces. Santo holds Twitter Spaces every week. Does a really good job in sharing easy to digest information about the blockchain and things around it. So yeah, worth having a look at, Paul.
Thank you.
That brings us up to the hour. So unless there's any other burning questions, I think we can wrap up.
Yeah, Jonathan, could you sort of like briefly go through Cardano shift and CLAP token? Is there anyone worth looking back into that again?
Yeah, I hold some CLAP. They've just had a vote on. I can't remember what it was for.
Yeah.
Yes, that was it. To transition to a DAO. So they effectively are wanting to devolve the governance, the management of that project to a DAO. So anybody who and typically a DAO will work in that anybody who holds a token then has the ability to vote in the DAO. And so if you have got hold of tokens somehow, either by collecting them or by buying in, then you are then given that much voting power in the DAO. A DAO will be, we're hoping the DAOs become the companies of the future. So when a group of like-minded people gather together to create something, which is effectively what businesses do these days, then a DAO will replace that and actually have a bit more say for everybody who participates. So the management of it is being given a voting structure from the outset. So you don't have to have a CEO mandating everything from the top. You can actually have, maybe it's the CEO giving a vision and then saying, this is how I think we can meet this vision. And then people can vote on which direction the criteria are followed in. And so you're actually empowering people to guide and steer the company, or not the company, the DAO, and make decisions about how, what they pick up on, what partnerships they forge, and that sort of thing. So, for example, the Smartclaimz platform are a DAO. So Freeloader's team are a DAO, and so they vote on anything before they make a decision. It's a public vote. Anybody who holds their token can go in and participate in that vote, and that means that just applying to have your token listed on that platform goes under public vote. So it's not a given that will be accepted on, even though I've got a couple of people in there who really like me and like the token. It'll only be decided by everybody at once, and so that's a really good checks and balances on steering a company. So Cardano Shift they had a vote on whether they would go to that direction as well, and I see that as a very bullish signal. If they are willing to, they've already achieved quite a lot of attention. They've obviously invested quite a bit in terms of the quality of their branding and exposure. The people I've got working with this Launchpad accelerator, they've got they're mission driven, so they're focused on environmental or social impact projects, and they're obviously willing to hand over the keys that they currently hold in a small team over to a public vote, and that's a positive sign for me as well, because it means that they're not they do want to they don't want to listen to the people who participate. They want to have their decisions made collectively. They don't just want to steer it and it's very easy for an organization to only become about serving the organization's needs, and decisions get made then that don't consider humanity at all in there. So hirings and firings happen in large corporates based on numbers and digits and metrics, and that's valuable to a certain extent, but ultimately if you are then the computer's telling you to sack people who've been with you for 30 years, that's not showing human nature in its best light. There's got to be something more to life than purely economic means, and so by handing the decision making back to humanity as a whole rather than to a corporate entity that's just designed to protect itself, and the board will always operate in the interests of the board and the shareholders, and so if that means shutting down a plant or axing people, then or suing somebody, going after somebody, an employee who's made a mistake, then they will make that decision on behalf of the company, and so it becomes an autonomous decision making that's just down to criteria rather than the humans involved in it, which I think is a scary place to end up. And so hopefully my hope is for DAOs to actually come back and combat this a bit, and so shifting to a DAO platform is a good thing. So it got my positive vote, and by participating in the vote, then I got a bit more clap sent to me. Clap is their token. So again, with any of these projects and holding any of these tokens, there are always, it seems, little ways of increasing your holdings, and so this is a way of effectively like getting passive income, growing your ability to have passive income in low value tokens that may well become valuable, and it only takes a couple of these to 10x, 20x, and the effort and time involved in all of them is paid off. So participating in the ecosystem, being willing to risk a few ADA here and there is worthwhile, in my opinion. Participation is key at the moment while we're still young. You will lose some, but long term, this is you are going to be part of the ecosystem, the rising tide. So yeah, participate, get involved. I don't have any qualms about Carter Shift so far. Do your own research, obviously, Utan. Look at the projects that they have funded in the past, see if they meet the sort of things that you're interested in. There's a technical issue with them at the moment, so Paul's wallet is not being recognized by their voting system, which is not great, but at least they have a public forum you can go to and talk to them and raise complaints and say, look, this is not working for me, I deserve my voting ADA, even though I couldn't participate. So Paul has somewhere he can go to speak. Whether he gets any headway there, hopefully he will, because they seem like a good solid team, but no comeback. Shame. So yeah, that's something else to put into your due diligence. Get real testimonials of how someone has been treated, and if it's not a good treatment, then that reflects badly on them or a couple of individuals certainly within them, and that will guide their overall direction. If they're getting black flagged because they're not doing Paul any favors, then they won't succeed.
So this is a Cardano. In this clap token, you can only get on NAMI or Flink wallet, right? You can't use the Internet or something like that. Other wallets. Is that correct?
To participate in their voting system, yes, you need to use NAMI or Flint wallet at the moment. But again, because you can load your existing wallets into other wallets, that's not really a barrier. So I have a wallet I created in NAMI. I then loaded into Eternal, and so I can put money in and out of it easily, and in the way I like operating using Eternal. And then when it comes to interacting with some of these dApps that are restricted to the oldest wallets like NAMI, then you can still put money into that wallet in Eternal, and then actually connect using Nami wallet on the DApp itself, using the DApp connector. So yeah, there are ways of interacting still. And if you want me to, you know, talk you through that on a workshop 1 week, that's fine. We can go through that, or I could maybe even record a video if it's something you really want to have a go at. Yeah,
Stuff like that.
definitely, Paul. Okay. If that's something everyone wants to do, then next time we can look at opening up a Eternal wallet in Nami. Sound good?
Yep.
Nice. All right, I'll add that to the agenda. Yeah, everybody happy? Is that enough for today?
Thank you.
Cool. All right. Well,
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
have good weeks, everyone. We're getting closer to the IAW London meetup, so I hope to see some of you there. And I'll see you all next week. If not,
Yeah.
Just
Thanks a
wait
lot.
before
Yes, thank you.
pleasure. See you all soon. Bye bye.
Yeah.
I never started it. That's stupid. Okay.